Mike, this is going to be interesting. We were on pit road, and you heard so many different theories about what they needed today. And with the track being a little grayer, it makes me think there's a little less grip, and that sun has been out all day.
So Larry's estimating Joey Logano, when he does his pass-through, will go 1.5 to 1 3/4 laps down. The good thing for Logano is he'll be the only car laps down should there be an early caution, but he's not eligible for that free pass because of it. Green flag in Atlanta. Michael McDowell leads them to turn 1. It's the Kyle and Kyle show on the inside.
Big run coming on the outside. Todd Gilliland pushing McDowell already. Busch up for a block.
Michael McDowell swings to the bottom, but Kyle Busch moved up because he knows that that middle lane is going to be the preferred lane. As these things get strung out, you're going to want to be in the middle lane, so you better get off the bottom as quick as you can.
Well, why is that? A little bit more banking. You get trapped on the bottom like you said.
Trouble! One car slides to the infield, Austin Dillon, and they pile up behind him.
That's 2 weeks in a row early out for Austin Dillon. I don't know how much damage he has, but there's a bunch of them, folks. You got Gregson in this, Bell. There's a right rear. I think Austin may get away with just that tire damage.
Just let us know what we got to work on. Solid right front.
Yeah, and Clint, as we go back and look at this, you're going to see them all stack up really, really bad in the middle of the straightaway, but there is a ton of cars that have damage.
All the drivers that had trouble in qualifying are caught up in this.
Always the risk, right? You know, you start at the back of these fields and you put yourself in harm's way, but man, that is not what a lot of these guys wanted to see early. This is a big wreck.
Austin Dillon has not left the scene down there in turn number 1. Alex Bowman with a lot of damage, and Harrison Burton appears to be involved again. Noah Gregson, I say again, he was taken out in lap 6 of Monday night's race.
Yeah, and you talk about Austin Dillon. He scored 1 point last week.
Let's look what happened. It stacks up on its outside, folks. If you watch here, these cars right in through here all start stacking up as they catch them. Accordion effect. We saw it at Daytona time and time again. Look at the accordion back here.
What happened was Todd Gilliland trying to make a hole for Michael McDowell to get up in that preferred lane in the middle, stack that whole lineup really hard.
Those guys had nowhere to go, didn't see it, landed right in their lap.
What a mess. Watch Todd Gilliland, the 38 car right here. He's going to check up to try to make a hole for Michael McDowell, and it checks up this whole line. And all of a sudden, that accordion just gets deep.
Denny Hamlin just missed the 3.
You see Harrison Burton around.
We're under caution. Just 2 laps into the Ambetter Health 400 in Atlanta.
It just stacks up, and having 2 super speedway races in a row like this is the fear of starting in the back with a slow car, having a bad week at Daytona, and we haven't seen this before with 2 super speedways in a row. The magnitude of mess that you can be in after 2 races is going to haunt some of these guys.
It takes till late summer to get caught up in this, if you ever do.
16 cars involved in this pileup. Turn 1, lap 2. Josh Williams has taken his car to the garage. Repairs complete on Chase Elliott and Noah Gregson. Only Alex Bowman still sits on pit road as a result of this.
We know anything can happen, but as the run goes here, that handling will become harder and harder to come by, and you want to be as far forward as possible.
I like what you said right there. Talking like, think about Kyle Busch in his scenario, really losing the nose. That was out front, Kevin.
Right.
It's going to be way worse back there.
Well, and that was my point a little bit, you know, to be able to sit when I said suck it up, drivers, because the further forward you're going to be, the better that's going to be, because it's less turbulent. So you want to stay as far forward as possible, because that problem is not going away in the corners with that push.
They sure try. You never give up. Certainly, Randall Burnett made that lengthy stop because he thought he could do something to fix it.
Noah Gregson has taken his car to the garage. He was involved in the lap 2 pileup. Boy, Harrison Burton keeps grinding it out on the inside. He'd pop up into the high lane when there was a spot, but now Fourth car on the inside. Logano to the top, so third car on the inside now.
See Zane Smith in the wall there. He put that car in the third lane going through turns 1 and 2, and there's just no grip up in that third lane in 3 and 4.
Well, I think Logano moved up to block him as well, took the air off that nose that we've been talking about, and man, it took off right into the fence.
And we'll hear a lot of people talk about the air block, and that is a real thing.
And he may be in real trouble here.
He's got a tire down.
Yep.
Or a bent toe link, something.
One more to come inside. All
Bent
clear.
toe link. You can see the rear tire towed out there.
Yep.
So Zane Smith will make it to pit road as we stay green.
That'd be easy to do. Different pit speeds for caution scenarios, green flag scenarios.
Now also, we talked about the radius of that apron. And if you run the inside, you're really at a different speed than if you run the outside, because NASCAR measures time over distance. Could each of those drivers have a different number in mind?
No, but when they do make a mistake like that in front of you and you're down low, that's where it's problematic.
Oh, crash! William Byron and Michael McDowell have crashed on the apron.
Get back on if you can.
No caution.
No caution yet.
They're
not going to want to throw it because of the scenario that it would unfold. They're going to keep it green.
Yes, we stay green. Not sure how much damage was done there. So let's see what happens here. Michael McDowell and William Byron slowing for pit road behind Kyle Larson. And McDowell locks him up.
Rear tire. You saw the smoke come out of the rear tires right there, and that thing started sliding, and he just lost control of his car and hit William Byron.
Once again, no caution flag. BJ McLeod too fast on pit road, and now the leader, Bubba Wallace, is coming to pit lane.
Two green, no mistake. Two green on pit road.
Just that right rear tire lock up and shot the thing around on Michael McDowell.
And look at it really ratchet up.
And then you see Austin Cindric change lanes. There he goes from the bottom to the top as Joey Logano.
Oh, big block. Now he got pushed below the yellow line.
Briscoe did, yes.
The double line.
Yep.
I'm still in Daytona time, boys.
Yeah, Briscoe and Truex got together there. If you get pushed below the yellow line, the driver that does that may incur a penalty. It's optional. NASCAR can review it. If you drive below the double line to improve your position, you will get a penalty.
He certainly got rammed.
Oh,
reckon.
No, Logano. Busher, Hamlin pile up on the last lap of stage 2.
Yeah, and that was just a late block from what I saw right there.
Austin Cindric will win the stage. How many times today have we said, didn't see that coming?
Did not see that one coming.
No.
Kevin, I think you nailed it. Yes.
Yeah, and you see Joey Logano stuck on the rub blocks right there. You see the wheels spinning, so they're going to have to get the tow truck to bring him to pit road, and he's going to lose a couple laps doing that.
He was on the bottom. He was on the bottom of Busher.
All right, we'll come back and review. Cindric has won the stage from Kyle Larson. There you see them out in front as Busher got into the wall, and then Logano swept up, and boom. Stage 2 ends in chaos as you watch from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Powering every mile and every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear, more driven. Joey Logano said on the in-car radio, it just kept plowing up the racetrack.
Yeah, and as we see Joey Logano on the bottom here, you're going to see him come up the racetrack, and as these cars get close, both of them are going to get tight. You see the flames come out of the pipe of Joey Logano's car, and those cars are almost stuck together. They aren't stuck together, but from an aero standpoint, they are stuck together and just want to go straight.
Well, the air off the 22 changing direction there is why the 17 got tight, right? He goes up. It was pretty obvious to me that he was trying to fill that gap, slow the block, slow the run by Busher. And as soon as he moved, not only did he get tight, Busher did as well.
Yeah, and you see See him sliding down the back straightaway here. The 11 car of Denny Hamlin had a lot of contact, but you're going to see Joey Logano come up. And when he gets behind this 12 car right here, that's when the thing takes off.
You can hear him lifting before the contact.
And that's what we've been talking about all day, is when these cars get behind one another, they just lose all that front downforce and the front tires take off. And as soon as he got up the racetrack like he wanted to, he got behind that 12 car, and watch this thing. He's going to have the wheel cranked to the left and just straight. Hands never even checked up. It was just turn left, and the aero just got so bad right there on the front of his car that it just wouldn't turn.
Denny Hamlin.
That air is so important, and you could see it firsthand right there with Buescher. As soon as that 22 car moved in front of him, he went to move, and that thing was along for the ride.
This is Chris Buescher. Wow. And from on board, the BuildSubmarines.com cam.
Pretty frustrated there. What was that? You could see him looking down too. He knew he was in trouble with that 22 coming up the track. I hear you, buddy. Bummer.
One of those days.
This season, Toyota Racing is looking for jaw droppers.
Break for Martin Truex right there, the fastest lap of the day.
Iron stomachs that can stand the pressure. And quick draw thumbs that leave their own smoke trail. So hold on tight and strap yourself in. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
There's your biggie bag. All that food for $5. Nice. That's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
Go biggie and get all this with the JBC for just $5.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
Hello?
Should you become stranded, be ready to signal rescuers. Bush.
How long have I been out here?
About 12 minutes. Head for the mountains.
As the sun sinks slowly in the west, so does our list of cars that have not been involved in an accident. 8th caution flag. You saw it all on our side-by-side coverage. Lap 220, the 5, 6, and 7. Larson, Keselowski, and Corey LaJoie. Here are the cars that have not been in a crash today.
This has just been a wild race, and it's just it's everything that we talked about. So let's take a look and see what happened here at the last caution. You're going to see the 6 right there of Brad Keselowski. He's going to go in the corner here, and he's going to get loose, and the 5 and 7 just had nowhere to go and couldn't check up fast enough and wound up just getting involved as well. See him go in right there, go up the racetrack, get a little bit loose. The car gets away. 7 and 5 pile in.
5, 6, and 7.
And that's how close these cars to being on the edge are. You see Brad just wiggle a little bit, but every single corner is just like that for these drivers. You are making small corrections with the wheels lap after lap, and with all these cars and all this energy, you're doing everything that you can do. As we take a look from the back bumper of Brad Keselowski, you see him wiggle, start to slide. 5 and 7.
You hear him. I mean, he was still in the throttle. Watch this.
Yep, all good in your tracks. Once you don't touch it. All right, hold the brake. Straight, Brad, keep coming straight. Toss us out. Get it rolling straight here. Yeah, you get it on straight. Don't hit again. All right, hold the brake.
Brad spotter TJ Majors on the radio there. Here's Corey LaJoie's view. Minor damage to LaJoie.
There was just nowhere to go.
3. Don't stop. Watch it, watch it, watch it.
This is the 5th race on the new configuration of Atlanta, and Kyle Larson has been involved in a crash in every single one of them. Not of his own doing necessarily.
Landed right in his lap. No. Had it where he needed to be, right? I mean, it's all you can ask as a driver.
And that's all you can do. You just got to know as we go on board here with Kyle. Brad steps out. He's just wrong place, wrong time. And that's just bad luck. And you want to race at the front of these fields as much as you can, and you just got to play the percentages. I used to always tell myself it was a 50% game. You had 50% chance of wrecking. Obviously, that's not working for Kyle, but I guess if you add in all the other super speedway races, maybe it works out for him.
Cindric with a run underneath Kyle Busch.
Crossover. Watch this push on the outside for Briscoe.
And what you saw Kyle Busch just do right there to drive up in front of, as he tries to go to the outside of Ryan Blaney, but he put himself in front of that 14 car as it had a big run, and Chase Briscoe had no choice but to push him. So as we get later and later in the run, as we saw Ross Chastain do last week, you're going to have to block and pick and choose where you want to put your car in front of those lanes coming at you.
And they're still 3 abreast. A couple of rows deep right there.
The speed in the 14 is what makes him dangerous. He's able to
4 wide.
Puts him in bad spots. There he goes. He's around.
Yeah. Off the nose of Denny Hamlin, who also was involved. Chase Briscoe. Larry, you missed it by a lap. I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, and that's exactly what we talked about, Clint. You know, Briscoe just kept putting his car in position after position, bad spot after bad spot, and finally it has bit him.
Well, the speed in his race car enabled him to do that. You know, I'm not putting that on him. It's the package, right? Denny Hamlin, he was a contender. That car was capable of getting the job done. Finally did him in. Going back to that, tons of speed in that car, but it was kind of a dart without feathers. That thing could get down there and force him in a scenario to have to make a move. It was time and time again, the speed down the straightaway land a problematic situation in your lap by the time you got in the corner.
There you saw Denny Hamlin's right front wheel is locked. He's just going to try to nurse it around to pit road. Full moon this weekend. Anybody surprised? No, not me. Chase Briscoe climbs out after a very eventful day.
Well, you see Chase Briscoe right here. Got up in front of Bubba Wallace, tried to go through the middle, and they were too wide below him, and he just lost it.
Shot the gap one too many times.
Yeah, and you want to be aggressive, and you want to keep doing everything that you need to do to go forward, but at that particular point, he just got a little tap from the 11 underneath him there because they were 4 wide. There was just nowhere to go and wound up getting spun out.
Can't say he wasn't going for it.
9th caution flag of the day. Chase Briscoe's race comes to an end right there. From Martin Truex. Other than Briscoe, looked like Denny Hamlin got the worst of it here.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, they're too wide below Chase there, and spotter's got to be telling him too wide. I don't know what the spotter said, but they were too wide below him, and
hold on.
Yeah, he went too low, and Denny Hamlin was there with the car below him, and he couldn't go anymore, and the 14 wound up getting spun out right there.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez had a run to the inside of Hamlin, so they were stacked up 4 wide.
Well, it's one thing to shoot a 4 wide gap if you've got momentum. No momentum getting into 3.
Yeah, and you see him let go of the steering wheel with this rag and pinion steering on the front of these cars. It just whips the wheel back and forth. So a lot of guys choose to just let go of the wheel and not get their wrist hurt.
Denny Hamlin just came off pit road. They lap past him.
Big push from Busch on the outside of Suarez. Not quite clear for the lead.
Jamie, how about the 99?
He has been so good here, Mike. Daniel Suarez, top 10, 3 of the last 4. He has a brand new crew chief as well, Matt Swiderski. I talked to him before the race. He said, I know how good he is here. We were 100% focused on this race car. We weren't giving up anything. That hurt us in qualifying, but here we are at the end. We got cars together, Mike.
The 4 into the fence. And the 9 of Chase Elliott goes for a double spin there. Whoa, close call. Oh, it wasn't the last caution.
Well, they all got checked up. You see the toe link on the left rear is broke on the 4 car. Chase Elliott car is still rolling, but when we play this replay, you're going to see the 2 car have to get checked up and get stuck in the middle, and it jammed things up from the center of 1 and 2 to the exit.
Sure did. Big movements there in the front of the line. Obviously the crash was behind it, but Cindric got in trouble, had to lift getting into 1. Watch these runs. I was looking at Busch pushing Suarez getting in on the outside, but the push was coming as hard on the bottom too. You see him lift. Cindric got tight, got up into Busch. He had to move, and here comes Truex on the bottom filling the void.
And when we talk about tight, for those of you at home that don't know, you see the 23 car and the 4 have a little contact, and the 4.
Basically the aftermath of all of that transpired getting into 1. Finally wrecked down the backstretch.
When we talk about tight, that means the front tires won't turn. So Austin Cindric went into that corner, and the front of his car just would not steer, and he gets stuck in the middle, and you see the 23 car get a little bit loose, and then Josh Berry check up just a little bit and got loose behind him and spun out.
I'm glad we saw that angle right there. Yeah. That movement of air is what made Berry loose. As soon as he got loose in front of him, it took the air off of his car. That wake in front of him dumped all the air off of his, and boy, around it went.
Yeah, and a lot of times in that situation, Clint, when you've got the wheel in it like that and you just check up, that car will sometimes just unload and spin out. It's hard to tell if the 4 car had to check up right there when the 23 got a little bit sideways there, but
that just lifted Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, it was amazing. As soon as Wallace's car got loose, that thing followed suit right behind him.
Nemechek just narrowly misses a spinning Elliott. Here's Corey LaJoie's view.
Which way's he going?
Wow.
You see him downshift, grab that gear quick. Another 80 gets slowed down. Heads up driving by him, and probably a spotter telling him trouble ahead.
Oh my goodness. 3 tires off the ground on Carson Hocevar's car as he hits the 4 of Josh Berry.
See how hard that thing is to drive with that broken toe link on the left rear.
10th caution flag of the day. Still 10 laps to go. Daniel Suarez out in front of Ryan Blaney.